I want to say to the people that are watching us live on the internet, good morning. And as always, it is good to stand before you on the Lord's Sabbath day. But I got to say this. When I saw Cucamonga, I thought about Abbott and Costello. Around we go. Maybe I'm about to announce my age, huh? Anyway, sisters and brothers, the day is titled, we're going to get right to it. The title of this lesson is The Abomination of Desolation. The Abomination of Desolation. You know, the Lord put this name on this gentleman, and a lot of people like to use the term Antichrist. I don't use the term Antichrist because you have a lot of Antichrists. But this is something, you know, people are trying to wonder about when is the world going to end and when's it all over with. But the way the Lord have given you all kind of signs for you to know what time it is. There is no reason for a servant of God to be running around, I wonder if the world going to end next week. Or either dealing with foolishness like the blood moon. Have nothing to do with prophecy, sisters and brothers. I mean, nothing. Everything is in order. When you understand prophecy, sisters and brothers, you look and you see things going on. I understand what's going on in Russia. Like I understood that before the 10 nations in the common market became 10, I knew that 40 years ago that had to happen. Because prophecy don't lie. That's why people say, well, we're going to see what Russia's going to do. I know what Russia's going to do. Russia's going to put the Soviet Union back together. You know why? Because the Lord told him in Ezekiel to be a shield and buckler to all of those that's east of the Euphrates River. We know what's going on, sisters and brothers. See, but what's happening is we go to church and we get hung up in emotions. And I tell people all the time, anytime you get too emotional, you miss something. But when you're learning something, you don't have time to get too emotional because you're too busy learning. And that's what this is all about, sisters and brothers. Everybody have to work out their own salvation. And in order for you to work out your own salvation, you must know how. But somewhere, know-how or knowledge have been spit on. You know, you're a servant of God, you don't need no knowledge. No, if you're a servant of God, then you have all kind of knowledge, because if you his servant, you have to know how to serve him. It's all that simple. It's not a way I feel. Well, I feel like, a lot of people use that all the time. Well, that's not the way I feel. The way you feel is irrelevant. That's what thus said the Lord. Now, we're going to start this with Jesus and his apostles at Matthew, the 24th chapter. Matthew chapter 24, because they asked him a specific question. And nobody reads it. This is the only thing that really bothers me. Everybody know the Lord, but don't nobody read his word. Then you turn around and ask why everything is so messed up. Had a brother said the other last week, if the Lord, if the Lord was God, why is he allowing all this carnage and killing and murder and all this? Well, look, he told you that this was going to happen. Well, why am our sons and daughters, the jail's full up? Because the Lord told you the jail was going to be full. You'd be surprised at what's written. Even about when it get hot, you're going to see all these young men standing on the corner. Don't you know that's written too? There is no inadvertent behavior. It's all been called by the Lord. And he said one thing that nobody ever pays attention to. And that is, surely the Lord would do nothing but reveal his secrets to his prophets. But nobody won't deal with it. You know why? Because you don't want to go to church to go to school. You want to go to church to feel good. If you coming to feel good, the only way you're going to feel good is when you go to school and get you some knowledge. And I feel good because I'm smarter than I was when I left here. This is what it's all about. The Lord deal with specifics, and we're going to deal with some specifics right here. Matthew 24 and verse 1. Go ahead. Okay, we got to be better now. I'm going to try to be nice. Go ahead.
And Jesus went out and departed from the temple, And his disciples came to him for to show him the buildings of the temple.
Go ahead.
And Jesus said unto them,
Uh-huh.
See ye not all these things?
Go ahead.
Verily I say unto you, there shall not be left here one stone upon another that shall not be thrown down.
So now when they was at that temple, Jesus told them, look, this temple is going to be torn down to the ground. I mean everything. And that happened by the hand of Titus in 7 A.D., sisters and brothers. Because the prophecy that Jesus is giving is long prophecy, go clean to the end. And he said, you're not going to have one stone left upon another. That's why I don't know where that wailing wall came from over there, but it wasn't a part of the temple site then. If Jesus said not one stone going to be left on another, not one is there. And if you go back and check in the history, Titus told Jerusalem, the temple and everything down to the ground, sisters and brothers.
Yeah.
This is recorded history. Now they ask him another question. Go ahead and read.
3. And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us, when shall these things be?
Go ahead.
And what shall be the sign of thy coming and of the end of the world?
Now, these are specific questions. When shall these things be? Well, you know you can't question God. If you want to know something, you question him, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
And what is the time of your coming and the end of the world? Go ahead and read.
And Jesus answered and said unto them, Take heed that no man deceive you.
Now, this is what people never pay attention to. Take heed that no man deceive you. Excuse me. Where's this deception going to come from? Go ahead.
For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and shall deceive many.
See, he warned you about where the majority of the deceivers are going to come from. So many shall come in my name, saying that I am Christ. They're not denying that I am Christ, but they shall deceive many. Most of the deception you hear in the Word of God come right here from the pulpit.
That's right.
Jesus warned you about it, but don't nobody listen to Jesus. Skip down to verse 11 and read it.
And many false prophets shall rise and shall deceive many.
Many! And they're going to come in the name of Jesus, sisters and brothers. That's where the majority is going to come. Skip down to verse 14. Go ahead.
And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations. And then shall the end come.
Now that is a specific point made. And this gospel shall be preached in all the world. As a witness. See, it's not going to convict. It's not going to convert everybody, but the ones that if the word don't convert, it's going to convict.
Yeah.
Oh, that's why the Lord told you. And the books was open, and everybody was judged according to what was written in the book. Mm-hmm. This gospel, sisters and brothers, obvious that if the gospel had been all over the world, then the end would be here.
That's right.
That's why the Lord knows I'm trying to get it out there, because I'm tired of everything. Go ahead and read. What verse?
15. When ye therefore shall see the abomination of desolation.
When you therefore shall see the abomination of desolation. Go ahead.
Spoken of by Daniel the prophet.
Spoken of by Daniel the prophet.
Stand in the holy place.
Stand in the holy place. Go ahead.
Whoso readeth, let him understand.
Sisters and brothers, what do you think about the people that say they are New Testament Christians? Jesus has sent you back to investigate Daniel the prophet, because Daniel's going to tell you about a man that is so abominable that the Lord called him abomination, and he's going to sit in the holy place. You don't know who the abomination is. You don't know what the holy place is. Because you won't go back and read none of Daniel's. He says, so when you see this guy stand in the holy place, whoso readeth, let him understand. What verse is that?
We're 16.
Go ahead.
Then let them which be in Judea flee into the mountains.
So if you're in Judea, go into the mountain. I'm telling you, wherever you are, you better try to get to the wilderness. Go ahead and read.
Let him which is on the housetop not come down to take anything out of his house.
Go ahead.
Neither let him which is in the field return back to take his clothes.
The Lord just letting you know how urgent this is. Yeah. When you see this guy coming, don't be fooling around. I mean, you better get together and move on. Because if you don't, you're going to have you a major problem. Why is it that he said that? Skip now to verse 21 and go ahead.
For then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be.
Now that's one time, ain't it? Great tribulation. This kind of tribulation have never been since there have been a world. And the Lord said, it is not going to be again. Because this is going to be some rough times, sisters and brothers. You can think of all of the killing and slaughter and whatever you think. This is going to be worse than all of it. And the Lord warning people about it, and don't nobody pay no attention to it. I'm going to show you how grave it's going to be. Go ahead and read.
22. And except those days should be shortened, there shall no flesh be saved. But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened.
Sisters and brothers, when Jesus made this prophecy, there was no weapon on the planet that could destroy all flesh. But you got plenty of them now. Everybody got one. Got a lot of them. Russia got a lot of them. America got a lot of them. India got a lot of them. Israel got some. And they're going to tell the Iranians, you can't have one.
Right.
Everybody have this weapon. This is a nuclear weapon, sisters and brothers. But the Lord going to have to shorten this, because he said if it don't, this man would kill everything. And the man has proven every weapon that he ever created, he done used it.
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead and read.
23. Then if any man shall say unto you, lo, here is Christ, or there, believe it not.
Go ahead.
For there shall arise false Christs and false prophets, and shall show great signs and wonders, insomuch that if it were possible, they shall deceive the very elect.
See, the day gonna come, sisters and brothers. They're gonna say, well, Christ is back now. Where is he? He is in the temple. And to prove that's him, because they're going to make a physical statue, and this man going to make this statue walk and talk, and this man going to cause fire to come down from heaven in the sight of men. And you know what people going to say? Yeah, that's Christ. Yeah. But those of us that have some knowledge say, boy, we've been waiting on this guy.
Yeah.
We know we just a little bit closer now. In fact, we know exactly where we're in when this started to happen, because Jesus warned us about this. Go ahead and read.
25.
But he said, made a statement that if it was possible, he would deceive the very elect. Who are the very elect? The people that have knowledge.
That's right.
This transcends Israel and anybody who ever have knowledge. That's the very elect.
Yes.
Because you know what's going on. And you're among the blessed, because the Lord have elected to show you this, because you elected to seek for it.
That's right.
Go ahead and read.
Behold, I have told you before. Wherefore, if they shall say unto you, behold, he is in the desert, go not forth.
Go ahead.
Behold, he is in the secret chambers, believe it not.
He said, no matter all these stories, I'm going to tell you how I'm going to come. Go ahead and read.
For as the lightning cometh out of the east and shineth even unto the west, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be.
So he's letting you know when I come, every eye is going to see me.
Oh, yeah.
Ain't going to sneak up on the earth and say, well, Christ is in the temple. When I come, everybody is going to see me.
Yeah.
And if you don't have this understanding, you will get caught by this abomination that's going to set up house in the holy place. But the Lord said that Daniel spoke about this guy. So let's go into Daniel 7 chapter, and we're going to pick this guy up. Daniel chapter 7. Every time somebody tell me about, well, you know, I'm a New Testament Christian, I go right here to Matthew the 24th chapter and say, well, is Jesus a New Testament Christian too? He referred you to the Old Testament. 2 Peter tell you that you have a most sure word of prophecy. People just don't understand, sisters and brothers. And then you're wondering why the world is in the shape it is. The Lord have told you why it's here. The Lord has told us everything. But don't nobody bother to read. Daniel 7 chapter, and we're going to start reading at verse 1. Daniel 7 and 1. This is starting with the Gentile rulership from Nebuchadnezzar on down to the European Economic Community. Go ahead and read.
In the first year of Belshazzar, king of Babylon, Daniel had a dream and visions of his head upon his bed.
Go ahead.
Then he wrote the dream and told the sum of the matter. Daniel spake and said, I saw in my vision by night, and behold, the four winds of the heaven strove upon the great sea.
See, these four winds talk about nations, sisters and brothers. In fact, this is what inspired the book that the Lord called me to write, The Four Winds of Heaven. Because once people need to know about this, so you will see what's happening. So who are these four winds? Go ahead and read.
And four great beasts came up from the sea, diverse one from another. The first was like a lion, and had eagle's wings. I beheld till the wings thereof were plucked, and it was lifted up from the earth, and made stand upon the feet as a man, and a man's heart was given to it.
That was the Babylonian Empire, and the one that had a man's heart given to it was Nebuchadnezzar, the first man that ever ruled the whole world. Go ahead and read.
And behold, another beast, a second like to a bear. And it raised up itself on one side, and it had three ribs in the mouth of it between the teeth of it.
Go ahead.
And they said thus unto it, Arise, devour much flesh.
That was the Medo-Persian Empire. This is his bear. In fact, to tell you the truth, the Medes still have his own sign, which is the bear. They call it Russia nowadays. Go ahead and read.
6. After this I beheld, and lo, another, like a leopard, which had upon the back of it four wings of a fowl. The beast had also four heads, and dominion was given to it.
That was the Greek Empire, sisters and brothers. And four wings, because that's when Alexander the Great come up on the earth so quick. I mean, Alexander the Great took the earth down quickly, but then he died a young man. He had no strong blood successor, so his generals got to fighting over it, and four of them ended up. We have a lesson to show you that, but that's another lesson. Four of them ended up. The Lord have called this thing in order. This is the Greek Empire. Who came after the Greek Empire? Go ahead and read.
7. After this I saw in the night visions, and behold, a fourth beast, dreadful and terrible and strong exceedingly. And it had great iron teeth. It devoured and brake in pieces and stamped the residue with the feet of it.
Go ahead.
And it was diverse from all the beasts that were before it, and it had 10 horns.
Now this beast was so terrible until the Lord didn't have a beast to name it after. This is the Roman Empire. The 10 horns, sisters and brothers, let you know that the Roman Empire is supposed to rise and fall 10 times. We're looking at the 10th resurrection over there right now. And it's fallen in place the way the Lord called it. But he said this was a terrible beast. Why so terrible? Because it didn't do like all the rest of the beasts. Babylonian Empire came, died. Medo-Persian Empire came, died. Greek Empire came, died. The Roman Empire is still with you. Everything that you call spiritual come out of Rome. All the things that you separated come from Rome. Easter, Christmas, Sunday, going to heaven. So he have stayed with you through religion. Think about it. Terrible beast. Couldn't just beat you up physically, had to destroy you spiritually too. What verse were we?
We had 8.
Go ahead.
I considered the horns, and behold, there came up among them another little horn.
Go ahead.
Before whom there were 3 of the first horns plucked up by the roots. And behold, in this horn were eyes like the eyes of a man, and a mouth speaking great things.
That little horn, sisters and brothers, is the abomination of desolation. That little horn, the whole world called the Holy See, S-E-E. It just dropped the D because there were a lot of people would rebel against it. But Jesus is the Holy See. Yes. You understand what I'm saying? So we have a lesson to show you that you had 3 nations, Germanic tribes, that would not bow to this guy, the Ostrogoths, the Huruli, and the Vandale. They ended up getting plucked up by the root. Have you seen anybody that's called a nation called Ostrogoths now? No. But you have buildings that you call Gothic buildings. You don't hear no Huruli. And then you have the Vandals. You know, that's where the word vandal came from. This guy came in, plucked them up by the roots because they wouldn't go with the religious thing. Skip now to verse 15 and go ahead.
I, Daniel, was grieved in my spirit in the midst of my body, and the visions of my head troubled me.
Go ahead.
I came near to one of them that stood by and asked him the truth of all this. So he told me and made me to know the interpretation of the thing.
See, because I want you to understand how long this thing is going to go. So he says, grieve me. Go ahead and read.
These great beasts which are four kings which shall arise out of the earth.
They're actually four kingdoms. We just named them. Babylon, Medo-Persia, Greece, and Rome. Go ahead and read.
But the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever, even forever and ever.
So who going to take the Most High, to take the kingdom? The saints. If they're going to take the kingdom from these four beasts, that means they're going to take the kingdom on this earth, sister and brother.
Yeah.
But don't nobody know this because they're New Testament Christians. You understand? Go ahead and read.
19. Then I would know the truth of the fourth beast, which was diverse from all the others.
So this one was different from all of them. Go ahead.
Exceeding dreadful, whose teeth were of iron and his nails of brass.
Go ahead.
Which devoured, brake in pieces, and stamped the residue with his feet.
So this was exceedingly bad beast. Go ahead and read.
And of the 10 horns that were in his head, and of the other which came up, and before whom 3 fell, even of that horn that had eyes and a mouth that spake very great things.
He said, I want to know about this horn. And the whole world is sleeping on him, sisters and brothers. The whole world is, everybody's having a love affair with him right now. You understand? This might not be the one, but I tell you something, he ain't far, if it is not, he ain't far down the future. I intend to see this, and I'm speaking from prophecy. So he said the whole world wanted after this guy. Go ahead and read.
Into 20. Whose look was more stout than his fellow. I beheld, and the same horn made war with the saints and prevailed against them.
This is the time when that happens, sisters and brothers. This time he's going to make war with the saints and win. It's during the 3.5 years of great tribulation. 3.5 years. And you have been taught that came from the organization of the Little Horn too, and spread it to all of these Protestant preachers, that you got 7 years of tribulation. If you wait, so the Antichrist, they like to use the word, is going to make a covenant with the Jews over there for 7 years, and in the middle of the week, he's going to break the covenant. Sisters and brothers, if you waiting for the middle of the week, you're going to get caught up in the great tribulation. And if you don't have your God on, you're going to end up with a mark on you. Yeah. That's called the mark of the beast. And if you got that on you when the Lord comes, he ain't going to even talk with you. You finished. Over with. So ignorance is costly.
Yeah.
But he's going to make war with the saints, and he's going to prevail. These are the flesh and blood saints. But then there's another set of saints. Go ahead and read.
Until the Ancient of Days came.
Until the Ancient of Days came, that's Jesus, been around forever. Go ahead and read.
And judgment was given to the saints of the Most High. And the time came that the saints possessed the kingdom.
So when Jesus comes, judgment going to be given to the saints now. He's going to make them the judge, and then the saints are going to possess the kingdom. We're going to take a spin out right quick and look at what these saints are going to do, so you will understand what role they're going to play. But we're going to come back here in Daniel, so put your mark there. But let's go in the 149th chapter of Psalm. Psalm 149. Because you need to look and see. Because people think that you're going to be flying around heaven when Jesus comes. I'm telling you, but that came out of this terrible beast that stamped with the residue. He put you in heaven. But if you're a saint, let me show you some of the stuff you're going to be doing. Psalm 149. Psalm 149. And we're going to start reading at verse 1. 149th Psalm. 149th Psalm. That lets you know, nobody reads, sisters and brothers. Nobody reads. But everybody know everything. It's just like you ever heard when you was talking the Bible with somebody else and somebody come up to you and say, well, I don't know the Bible, but... So why are you opening your mouth? Because the world have given the perception that the Bible is your opinion. So that's why a person can come up and say, I don't know the Bible, but. 149 and 1. Read it.
Praise ye the Lord. Sing unto the Lord a new song.
Go ahead.
And his praise in the congregation of saints.
And his praise in the congregation of saints. Skip down to verse 5. Let's see if these guys are going to lose something. Verse 5. Go ahead.
Let the saints be joyful in glory. Let them sing aloud upon their beds.
Go ahead.
Let the high praises of God be in their mouth and a two-edged sword in their hand.
These saints ain't fooling around. What are they going to do with that two-edged sword? Go ahead and read.
To execute vengeance upon the heathen.
That's the nations. Go ahead and read.
And punishments upon the people. To bind their kings with chains and their nobles with fetters of iron. To execute upon them the judgment written. This honor have all his saints. Praise ye the Lord.
See, that's going to be during the 1,000-year millennium period. These are people in the first resurrection system, brother.
Yeah.
They're going to run this thing. Let's go into Revelation, the 2nd chapter. And look at them a little bit from the New Testament. Revelation chapter 2. Because, sisters and brothers, this thing here is laid out, and people are not going to get off this earth. If you do, you're just going to meet the Lord in there, and you coming right back. The Lord created you, this earth, to be inhabited by man and God.
Yes.
But Satan, since he got thrown up off it, he been trying to get everybody to think, well, heaven is the place to be. If you believe that, then I know who you worship. 2 and 26. 2 and 26. Go ahead.
And he that overcometh and keepeth my works unto the end.
So you got to do it to the end now. You can't just become once saved, all saved.
Right.
You got to keep this work to the end. Go ahead and read.
To him will I give power over the nation.
To him will I give power over the nations.
Yes.
These are the saints. Go ahead and read.
And he shall rule them with a rod of iron.
And you ain't taking no mess. Go ahead.
As the vessels of a potter shall they be broken to shivers, even as I received of my Father. So
Jesus letting you know that just like I came and to rule with the rod of iron, so is every saint. Isaiah the 30th chapter will tell you that you get ready to do something stupid, you're going to hear a voice behind you. Say, hey, that's not the way. This is the way. Walk therein, don't turn to the left or to the right. You might look around and don't see nothing, but if you decide not to listen, you find yourself on the ground. They ain't taking no mess, sisters and brothers. No. It's going to be right here.
Right here.
Flesh and blood saints, the abomination is going to make war with and win for a minute. But the saints are going to go to war and win forever. So now, let's go back and continue this thing and looking at this abomination of desolation. And in other words, another name for him is the little horn, the one with mouth like a man and eyes like a man and mouth that spoke great things. Back to Daniel, the 8th chapter. See, but if you don't read the Old Testament, you'll never know about this guy. Because you can track him and you can put your hand on it. Because he came down by way of prophecy.
Yeah.
And when you look at prophecy and go look at history, you find out they walk hand in glove, sisters and brothers.
Mm-hmm.
If the Lord said it's going to happen, it's going to happen. And it is recorded some way. What you got to do is find out. Verse 1, go ahead.
In the 3rd year of the reign of King Belshazzar, a vision appeared unto me, even unto me Daniel, after that which appeared unto me at the first.
That is Belshazzar, Nebuchadnezzar's son. Go ahead and read.
And I saw in my vision, and it came to pass when I saw that I was at Shushan in the palace, which is in the province of Elam, and I saw in a vision, and I was by the river of Ulai. Then I lifted up mine eyes and saw, and behold, there stood before the river a ram, which had 2 horns, and the 2 horns were high, but one was higher than the other, and the higher came up last. Now, this ram represents the Medo-Persian Empire. The Lord is going to show you the change of empire, starting with the Medo-Persian, is because Babylon, contrary to a lot of so-called historians, was not taken down by force. Babylon was inherited by Darius the Mede. When this guy Belshazzar drank out of the holy cups of God,
And he set that finger over and wrote in the plaster, say, you've been found weighed in the balance. You've been found lacking. Behold, your kingdom is given to the Medes and the Persians. And that night the Lord had him assassinated, and Darius the Mede took over the kingdom. There wasn't no war. Right. There wasn't no exchange, and I understand why the Lord didn't allow Babylon to be taken down by war, because it would confuse you with Babylon the Great. That's called the common marker now. This God we serve has fixed this thing.
Oh, yeah.
He removed all areas of confusion. All you got to do is pay attention. But go ahead and read. What verse?
4. I saw the ram pushing westward and northward and southward, so that no beast might stand before him. Neither was there any that could deliver out of his hand.
Now this ram, sisters and brothers, this Medo-Persian, when the Medo-Persian Empire was in power, Russia and Iran, with the modern day name, they ruled it. Could nobody stand before. I mean, they ruled this thing. But then somebody came along. Go ahead and read.
But he did according to his will and became great. And as I was considering, behold, an he-goat came from the west on the face of the whole earth.
Go ahead.
And touched not the ground. And the goat had a notable horn between his eyes. And he came to the ram that had 2 horns, which I had seen standing before the river, and ran unto him in the fury of his power.
Now this he-goat came so quick, it's like he didn't even touch the ground. Yeah. This he-goat, sisters and brothers, is Alexander the Great. He come up on the Persian Empire, because it's Medo-Persian, but Persia was in charge then when he came. He come up on them so quick until everybody wondered, where did he came from? And he is the first king of Greece, sisters and brothers. People always think, well, you got Philip the Barbarian. No, that was Alexander the Great's father. He was king of Macedonia. Alexander the Great put the whole kingdom of Greece together. Go read your history. It's all that. And so he come up on this ram and come up on him in anger. Go ahead and read.
7. And I saw him come close unto the ram, and he was moved with choler against him, and smote the ram and brake his 2 horns, and there was no power in the ram to stand before him.
Go ahead.
But he cast him down to the ground and stamped upon him, and there was none that could deliver the ram out of his hand.
I mean, Alexander the Great took the Persian Empire down big time. Go ahead and read.
Therefore the he-goat waxed very great, and when he was strong, the great horn was broken, and for it came up 4 notable ones toward the 4 winds of heaven.
Look, sisters and brothers, that's why when the Greek Empire was at the top of its power, Alexander the Great, looking for something else to conquer, he died from exhaustion and sickness. Go and read it. He died young. The man was in his 30s. And all his generals got to fighting over it, but 4 of them end up with it. But then that's another lesson. But they wasn't in his power because they separated the nations. Go ahead and read.
9. And out of one of them came forth a little horn, which waxed exceeding great.
That was the west wing. That little horn is Papa in Rome. Which whacked, I mean, he became real great, and is still great in the eyes of men. Go ahead and read.
Toward the south, and toward the east, and toward the pleasant land.
Go ahead.
And it waxed great even to the host of heaven. And it cast down some of the hosts and of the stars to the ground, and stamped upon them.
Those are the saints, sisters and brothers. So he cast them down and they stomped on them. Go ahead and read.
Yeah, he magnified himself even to the prince of the host. And by him the daily sacrifice was taken away, and the place of his sanctuary was cast down.
Sisters and brothers, people talking about this was Antiochus Epiphanes thing. No. This is talking about the one that's to come. The one that's going to move into the temple that the people over there that call themselves Jews going to be built, sisters and brothers. We know this. But what did he magnify himself? And by him, the daily sacrifice, what's he going to start doing over there? See, we know everything that's going to happen, sisters and brothers, because we read the book.
That's it.
They're going to start the daily sacrifice, but this guy going to stop it. Go ahead and read.
12. And an host was given him against the daily sacrifice by reason of transgression. And it cast down the truth to the ground, and it practiced and prospered.
And that's what's happened already. And he's going to really get it when he take over. But the truth is already cast down to the ground. Just about everybody in here at one time or another thought that they was going to heaven. Just about everybody in here at one time or another thought that Christ was born on the 25th day of December. Just about everybody in here thought that Christ died Good Friday and rose Easter Sunday morning. And just about everybody in here thought that their mama or their daddy was in heaven or hell. And when you tell somebody, no, your mama is not in heaven, she is in the grave, you get jumped on. Jesus didn't die on Good Friday and he did not rise on Easter Sunday morning. You are ostracized. Yep. You know why? Because the truth have been already stamped down to the ground. Yeah. Go ahead and read. What verse?
13. Then I heard one saint speaking, and another saint said unto that certain saint which spake.
Go ahead.
How long shall be the vision concerning the daily sacrifice and the transgression of desolation, to give both the sanctuary and the host to be trodden underfoot?
He said, how long is this going to happen? Against the daily sacrifice and the transgression and the host going to be given. And also, see, this is what I'm talking about. And also what is going to trample the holy place. How long? What did he say? Go ahead and read.
And he said unto me, until 2,300 days, then shall the sanctuary be cleansed.
2,300 days. That just gave you a great big message. When you start the animal sacrifice and you get 23 days, 2,300 days, then you take 300 and what is that? 3.5 years from it. What's that? 1,260 days. Yeah. Then what do you have left? 1,020 days. That just told you that there's going to be an animal sacrifice when it starts. It tell you it's going to be. He's going to stop it after they do it for 1,020 days. And then after that, the great tribulation starts. Then, you know why I know he said it? Because of the sanctuary. What did he say? Go ahead and read.
15. And it came to pass when even I, Daniel.
On the 14th, the reason I know it, he said, then shall the sanctuary be cleansed. The sanctuary ain't been cleansed since 7 AD. Still filthy. Go ahead and read.
And it came to pass when even I, Daniel, had seen the vision and sought for the meaning, then behold, there stood before me as the appearance of a man. And I heard a man's voice between the banks of Uli, which called and said, Gabriel, make this man to understand the vision.
This is the one that everybody thinks is God the Holy Ghost. Every time you want to know something, and the Lord send you your understanding, this guy Gabriel is the one, sisters and brothers. Well, you know, the Holy Ghost spoke. He is holy. And he is a spirit. But he is not God. John the Baptist's daddy was told, Zechariah was told, hey, you're going to have a son. He's going to be called the prophet of the highest. Who told him? Gabriel. Then the Lord sent Gabriel down there to tell Mary that she was going to have Jesus. Right. This Gabriel is the one, sisters and brothers. So he said, I heard a voice of Gabriel, make this man to understand. Go ahead and read.
17. So he came near where I stood. And when he came, I was afraid and fell upon my face. But he said unto me, understand, O son of man, for at the time of the end shall be the vision.
See, he's talking about this is all end time stuff. All end time stuff. Now he's going to break it down. Skip down to verse 20. Verse 20. And go ahead.
The ram which thou sawest having 2 horns are the kings of Media and Persia.
See the 2 horns on the ram? One horn represents the Median Empire and the Persian Empire. Go ahead and read.
And the rough goat is the king of Grecia.
So that's the king of Greece, that big horn. Go ahead.
And the great horn that is between his eyes is the first king.
Go and check your history and see who the first king of Greece was. Alexander the Great. Go ahead.
Now that being broken, whereas 4 stood up for it, 4 kingdoms shall stand up out of the nation, but not in his power.
And you go and you deal with it. Because his generals got to fight, and 4 of them ended up with it. We got to go. I'm just going to name one. The one that took over Egypt was Ptolemy. he had a daughter, Cleopatra. And her name became the official title of women that ruled Israel, ruled Egypt. Cleopatra, Cleopatra, Cleopatra. They think that Cleopatra was an Egyptian. No, Cleopatra was a Greek. But don't nobody read. You know, it's so simple. Read. Go ahead and read. What verse?
23. And in the latter time of their kingdom, when the transgressions are come to the full, a king of fierce countenance and understanding dark sentences shall stand up.
That's that little horn. Well, Brother Boy, he wasn't in the latter time of the Greek, of course, but remember, the Greek kingdom broke up into 4 areas. Then you had the western area, which was the Italian area, and Italy is on a peninsula. And in fact, that's what the word Italy came from. The peninsula, which became the Roman, sisters and brothers. The people of the peninsula, it's in my book, they grew and come from that west. And they conquered all them other 3 horns and end up in charge of the whole world. So he letting you know right now, the Greek Empire took down the Medo-Persian Empire, and one of the little horns, which became Rome, took down all the rest of them, and out of it came this one that the Lord called the Abomination of Desolation. Said a king coming understanding dark sentences, stuff that most people don't understand. That's why when the Lord come and take this guy down, he ain't going to stand in judgment. He's just going to flip him right into the lake of fire. Because you know, and you didn't do nothing about it. Now let's go, when this dark sentences, this man come up, understanding dark sentences, he started something. And it's going to end, sisters and brothers. That something he started is the Great Tribulation. Let's go in this Revelation, the 6th chapter, and let's look at it. Revelation chapter 6. And we're going to have a look at it. Because some things here that the Lord put here, and he want us to understand. They're talking about the 4 horsemen of Revelation. Yeah, well, this is the beginning of the Great Tribulation. Revelation 6, and let's start at verse 1. Revelation chapter 6 and start at verse 1. Okay, go ahead.
And I saw when the Lamb opened one of the seals, and I heard as if it were the noise of thunder, one of the 4 beasts saying, "Come and see."
These 4 beasts, sisters and brothers, is talking about the cherub angels that the Lord put around him in the Garden of Eden. These are the same cherub angels that the Lord put around him in the Garden of Eden. Go ahead and read.
And I saw and behold a white horse, and he that sat on him had a bow.
Go ahead.
And a crown was given unto him, and he went forth conquering and to conquer.
See, he helped them mimic Jesus. Jesus going to come on a white horse too, but he had many crowns. This guy had 1 crown and a bow, and he went forth conquering and to conquer. Because in the name of the Lord, this man going to kill a lot of people like it started in the old days.
Yeah.
Where you think the Holy Inquisition came from? You understand what I'm saying? In the name of the Lord, more people died and Carter got liver pills. But don't nobody read history. People don't know about it. Oh, this is such a holy organization. That is one of the bloodiest organizations on earth. But it is written, it's in the books, it's not hid.
Nope.
All you got to do is read. What verse are we?
We at 3. And when he had opened the 2nd seal, I heard the 2nd beast say, "Come and see." And there went out another horse that was red, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth.
Now look, sisters and brothers, when somebody go to conquer, the world ain't going to just give in easy. Then that's when you're going to start a war. So when you went forth, they're going to conquer, then you're going to take peace from the earth. This is earth we talking here. We ain't talking no heaven stuff. Go ahead and read.
And that they should kill one another. And there was given unto him a great sword.
Go ahead.
And when he had opened the 3rd seal, I heard the 3rd beast say, "Come and see." And I beheld, and lo, a black horse. And he that sat on him had a pair of balances in his hand.
Go ahead.
And I heard a voice in the midst of the 4 beasts say, "A measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny, and see that thou hurt not the oil and the wine."
You're going to have, once you have war, you have famine, but you're also going to have an orchestrated famine. We're going to show you that. One where you can have a pocket full of money during this time, But if you don't have the mark of the beast in your forehead or in your right hand, like it give you every ass wish to get you ready for it, you ain't going to be able to buy or sell nothing. You have $100 in your pocket and you can't buy a 50-cent hot dog. Where your mark at? Go ahead and read.
7. And when he had opened the fourth seal, I heard the voice of the fourth beast say, Come and see.
Go ahead.
And I looked, and behold, a pale horse, and his name that sat on him was Death.
Go ahead.
And hell followed with him. And power was given unto him over the fourth part of the earth to kill with the sword, and with hunger, and with death, and with the beasts of the earth.
Now, everybody that's in that fourth part of the earth going to be directly under him. This is talking about Europe here. Europe mostly, sisters and brothers. But we have here, that's called the common market called the Tsar of Brussels. I want him to read this right quick to let you know what it's talking about. This is something I got in 92. This is the guy here that we thought was going to be running over the European Economic Community for a minute. His name, you know, it's what's his name now?
Jacques Delors. Jacques Delors.
Yeah, Jacques Delors. But anyway, he is not the one now. Because they got the 10 nations now, and they're still trying to figure out who is going to be the head. They're talking about it right now. But I want to let you know what kind of, what area that this is covered from here to here. Go ahead.
Most of Europe's leaders felt security matters should remain NATO's preserve. Thatcher opposed a common currency. West German Chancellor Helmut Kohl demurred on a central bank that left the construction of a single integrated market with a population of 320 million, a gross national product second only to that of the United States and more than a quarter of the global trade.
And that's what's going to happen, sisters and brothers. He's going to be over a quarter of the planet, and they're going to have over a quarter of the global trade, and after a while, the United States is going to have to start fall subject to it. But we don't want to deal with this. Did you finish that?
The EC is potentially the richest market the world has ever known. And for that time being, Jacques Delors and his commission are Europe's closest thing to a government.
Now that's so, but eventually they're going to have one man. I thought he might have been the one. This is back in 92, but no, I know he's not the one now because the 10 hadn't been solidified at that time. But they're solidified right now, sisters and brothers. But when they get together, it's going to be the richest. And they're going to be over a quarter of the globe, just like this man, like the Lord had it written. Now and you know what happened? This little horn, this man of sin, this abomination is going to have a whole lot of influence on it. Out of all the nations in the European Economic Community that we call the common market, we only have one Protestant nation in there, and that is England. The rest of them are Catholic, sisters and brothers. And England would have been Catholic, used to be Catholic, until the Pope sided when England got into a fight with France. The Pope sided with France, England got mad, switched religion, and then asked the question, what is it I can do to hurt the Pope? Somebody said, translate the Bible into English. That's why King James did it. He didn't care nothing about God. He didn't have no religion. He turned over to the Cambridge University, and they translated it from Latin to English. That's how you got your version. But people don't know that. He didn't care nothing about God, didn't care nothing about the Scripture. All he wanted to do was get even with this Pope, who was his Pope as well as it was French. Why is it that you side with my enemy, being that you the God to both of us? Right. Think about it. Now let's go to Daniel's 11th chapter and pursue this guy. Back in Daniel's the 11th chapter. Because the 4 horsemen in Revelation, that is the beginning of the great tribulation. And it's not going in until Jesus. I could have kept reading and showed you Jesus come through and broke it all up. We finished that, right?
Yes, sir.
He came and broke it all up because he said he's going to be magnify himself even to the prince of the host, which is the Lord. Daniel's 11, and we're going to start at verse 31. Daniel's 11th chapter and verse 31. I've heard people say, well, you know, y'all go and read that hard stuff. No, we read the Bible. And if the Lord hadn't wanted us to know it, it wouldn't be written in here.
That's right.
That's why I don't concern myself with the lost books of the Bible. I said, Lord God is a great God. He ruled everything. He called it and make it happen just like he wanted. And if he wanted them Bibles under this cover, they would be here. Because everybody that I know that get off in the lost books of the Bible get lost with them. You look around and say, where are they? Well, we're looking for a higher learning. A higher learning? How can you get higher than becoming God? Right. Once we become God, then we can look for something else. But let's get this first.
That's it.
You go order $15 dinner, and you ain't got but $2 in your pocket. You better deal with what you can afford first. 11 and verse 31. Daniel 11 and 31. Okay, go ahead.
An arm shall stand on his part.
See, when this guy started, didn't he say he went forth to conquer and to conquer?
Yeah.
So arm gonna stand on his part. Go ahead and read.
And they shall pollute the sanctuary of strength. And shall take away the daily sacrifice. And they shall place the abomination that maketh desolate.
So who gonna do it? These 10 nations. They're going to come in there and they're going to install this guy into that temple, and the people that call themselves Jews ain't going to be able to do nothing about it. That's why I said they shall place the abomination of desolation. This is the one that Jesus told you about. Go ahead and read.
And such as do wickedly against the covenant shall he corrupt by flattery. But the people that do know their God shall be strong.
And this is the whole thing. He gonna corrupt a lot of people, through flattery. They're going to go with him. But the people that have some understanding are going to stand in the gap. But then this is going to be the time, though, when you're going to sure enough better know what you know. Because you're going to be sorely tested. Go ahead and read. Let's look at it.
And do exploits.
You're going to do exploits. That means you're going to be teaching everybody that would listen. Go ahead and read.
And they that understand among the people shall instruct many. Yet they shall fall by the sword, and by the flame, by captivity, and by spore many days.
Look, sisters and brothers, the only place that the Lord promised you safety is in the place of safety, in the wilderness. If you're outside and you see what's going on and you teaching people, if they come up on you, the Lord going to let some of you be killed. To try other people. See if you really going to deal with it.
Yes.
But if you really got some understanding, so you're going to kill a big deal. It's real close. I'll see you in another 3.5 years, mister. But this time, I'm going to be the one that's going to run it. But you have to have some knowledge.
Yes.
Go ahead and read.
34. Now when they shall fall, they shall be hoping with a little help. But many shall cleave to them with flattery.
Go ahead.
And some of them of understanding shall fall, to try them, and to purge, and to make them white even to the time of the end, because it is yet for a time appointed.
See, the Lord had this thing plotted out. So some people don't understand are going to fall. That's not to try them, but to try the people that's looking at them. Me and Cornell out there preaching, both of us treating the proof. Then they mess around and catch me and behead me. Now Cornell going to look at that thing. So wait a minute now. Do I really want to continue this thing?
Yes.
Because there's going to be a lot of beheading going on during that time, sisters and brothers.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's to strike fear. Because he's going to really, whatever truth is left, he's going to try to finish stamping it to the ground. Go ahead and read.
36. And the king shall do according to his will.
And he is a king, sisters and brothers. You notice every time he goes somewhere, he have a throne.
Yeah.
And he have a crown on his head.
Yeah.
And everybody bows to this king.
Yeah.
If you show up, you got to kiss the ring.
Yeah.
But don't nobody pay no attention to that. He is a king, sisters and brothers.
Yeah.
Nobody challenging him. He have his own fiefdom over there. Vatican City. Don't you know you can do something and get inside of there, and if he don't want you to come and get you, you can't do nothing? Yeah. The Italian government can't do nothing if you get in the Vatican City. If the Pope said, no, you can't have it. He could be a rapist. He could be a murderer. Like you had one American priest over here who embezzled a great big piece of money. Made it to Vatican City, and he probably died of old age by now. Because he is a king.
Yeah.
Go into history, read my book, and I show you who gave him that latitude, sisters and brothers. But the prophets called it before that happened. This is all recorded history. We ain't talking about fictitious stuff. We're talking reality here. Go ahead and read. What verse?
36. And the king shall do according to his will.
Yes, sir.
And he shall exalt himself and magnify himself above every God. And shall speak marvelous things against the God of God.
Doing it right now. Yes. Go ahead and read.
And shall prosper till the indignation be accomplished, for that is determined shall be done.
The Lord has already said this is going to happen. He's going to magnify himself above every God. And anything you do is going to prosper. Craft is going to, witchcraft, that's what the craft is, going to prosper in his hand.
Yes.
And whatever he wants to do, he's going to do it. That's why he's going to magnify himself above every God. Go ahead and read.
37. Neither shall he regard the God of his father, nor the desire of women.
He ain't worried about the ones that the people think they're worshiping, and he ain't going to worry about, ain't going to have no use for no woman. Go ahead and read.
Nor regard any God, for he shall magnify himself above all.
Now, sister and brother, Paul wrote about this guy.
Yeah.
Let's go in the 2 Thessalonians, the 2nd chapter. Paul wrote about this guy. Because it's obvious that some people was running around saying, well, you know, the Lord can come any day. Don't you hear people saying that sometimes?
Yes, sir.
That started in Paul's day. Paul stopped that kind of conversation. Well, you know, the Lord can come any day. Yeah, he can come for you. But other than that, it is impossible because he cannot breach prophecy. That's what people don't understand.
Right.
Even the Lord himself can't breach prophecy. That's why when Jesus was on the cross, because prophecy said that they're going to feed him vinegar as a drink, he couldn't die until he said, I thirst. Then when they gave him that vinegar, then he said, it is finished, and he died. People don't understand how important prophecy is. It sets everything in order. That's why I said the Lord called the end from the beginning. It wasn't no accident that Jesus had to rise on the Sabbath day. It was no accident.
That's right.
People don't read, therefore people don't know. Now Paul, apparently some people tell me the Lord can come any day. 2 Thessalonians, the 2nd chapter, let's start reading at verse 2 and 1. Go ahead.
Now we beseech you, brethren, by the coming of our Lord Jesus Christ, and by our gathering together unto him,
go ahead,
that ye be not soon shaken in mind, or be troubled, neither by spirit, nor by word, nor by letter as from us, as that the day of Christ is at hand.
He said, look, don't be shaken, and don't be fooled. I don't care if somebody writes you a letter, you hear by word, or you hear something speak in your ear. So that day cannot come.
That's right.
Why is that? Go ahead and read.
Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first, and that the man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition.
Look, sisters and brothers, except the falling away first. Falling away from what? The truth.
Yeah.
He said he's going to stamp the truth down to the ground. A great falling away have taken place, sisters and brothers. But the man of destruction, or the man of sin, have not been revealed. Because everybody think he's holy.
Yeah.
Go ahead and read.
4. Who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called God.
Who opposes and exalted himself above everything that is called God. Go ahead and read.
Or that is worship. So that he as God.
So that he as God.
Sitteth in the temple of God.
Sitteth in the temple of God.
Showing himself that he is God.
Showing himself that he is God. And that's going to happen.
Yes.
The temple of God, that's where the holy place is. And when this man of sin go over there and set in it, then the abomination of desolation will be in the holy place. This is the one that Jesus is warning you about.
That's right.
He's letting you know, I cannot come until this happens. But when this happens, know it's right around the corner. Because this man is going to have power that ain't nobody ready for. Now let's go back to Daniel's 8th chapter, because Jesus referred you here, didn't he?
Yes, sir.
So he knew where to send you because he's the one that dictated it. You understand? But don't nobody believe Jesus. Everybody's a New Testament Christian. Daniel 8, and we're going to start reading at verse 24. Because this guy will be able to do whatever he wanted to do, because he's going to have power that man ain't ready for. And if you don't have no knowledge, this guy going to swallow you up whole. 8 and 24. Daniel 8 and 24. Okay, go ahead.
And his power shall be mighty, but not by his own power.
He gonna be powerful, but it's not by his own power. Go ahead and read.
And he shall destroy wonderfully, and shall prosper, and practice, and shall destroy the mighty and the holy people.
This guy got it in for the holy people.
Yes.
Anybody that call him God, he have it in for you. That's why I hear all these people, preachers holler, telling people in the pew, saints, get ready. I'm going to tell you, saints, you better get ready. Because you're going to be sorely tested.
Yes.
Go ahead and read.
25. And through his policy also he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand.
That's witchcraft, sisters and brothers. Go ahead and read.
And he shall magnify himself in his heart, and by peace shall destroy many.
See, this is the big secret. He's going to destroy you in the name of peace.
Yes.
Come to the Lord. Well, I don't think I want to come. Stamp out the infidel.
Right.
We would like to invite you to join us on the Sabbath Day Live via the internet. Log on to our website, which is www.theisraelofgod.com. Click on the link Sabbath Day Live on our homepage. You will need Windows Media Player to view our program. We stream live twice every Sabbath at 10 a.m. and 1:30 p.m. Central Time. If you enjoy our program, we would appreciate your donations to help defer the cost of continuing this work. Send donations to the Israel of God, 2515 East 75th Street, Chicago, Illinois, 60649. Also, if you're in the Chicago area, please feel free to join us at our study class located at 2515 East 75th Street here in Chicago.